Hello students, we are going to continue with the word problems of practice set 2.6. Now the difficulty level will be a little higher, but the sums are quite interesting. So let's just get started with it. Problem number 6, let us read the question carefully. Mr. Kasam runs a small business of making earthen pots. He makes certain number of pots on daily basis. Production cost of each pot is rupees 40 more than 10 times total number of pots he makes in a day. If production cost of all pots per day is rupees 600, find production cost of one pot and number of pot he makes per day. Okay, so once we have read the question, now break it into parts and see what all is given. Mr. Kasam, he is having some business of making pots. He makes certain number of pots every day. So how many, that we don't know, certain number. So let's assume X. Okay, so assume he makes X pots every day. Okay, so number of pots is X. And production cost of each pot is 40 more than 10 times total number of pots he makes. So total number of pots he makes every day, that is number of pots, maybe he may be making 10 pots, 100 pots, whatever pots, we don't know. Okay, so cost of one pot is 40 more 40 more than 10 times total number of pots he makes in one day. So total number of pots he makes in one day is X. 10 times. So this is 10x plus 40. They have said production cost of each pot is rupees 40 more than 10 times total number of pots. This may sound a little confusing, but read it quietly, you will understand. So let's say he makes, just an example, he makes 10 pots every day and production cost of each pot, one pot is 100, let's say, then production cost of 10 pots will be how much? One pot is 100 and he is making 10 pots each day. So production cost of 10 pots is going to be 100 into 10, no? Because production cost of one pot we assume, so sorry, he makes 10 pots we assumed. He makes 10 pots every day and cost of one pot is 100. So cost of 10 pots is going to be 1000, right? What we did, we multiplied cost of one pot, that is 100, and number of pots. We multiplied cost of one pot and number of pots, right? So similarly now we are going to get by given condition, we are going to get condition now. And what is the condition given? If production cost of all pots per day is 600. So by given condition, production cost of all pots is going to be equal to X into 10x plus 40 and that's going to be equals to 600. This is the condition we got, and if you can get this condition, half the job is done. Now just multiply this x inside, you will get a quadratic equation. Solve the quadratic equation, simple quadratic equation, and you will get the value of x. You get the value of x means you got the number of pots. Okay, number of pots, and also we have to find the production cost of one pot, so you put it in this. Okay, so let's see how we are doing it. So let Kasam makes X earthen pots per day. Then the cost of each earthen pot is rupees 10x plus 40. From the given condition, then we get x into, okay. Now multiply that x inside the bracket. What do we get? 10x into 10x is 10x square plus x into 40 is 40x is equal to 600. We bring that 600 this side, so we get minus 600. Now what do we do to simplify this quadratic equation? Now see, all three of them, all the three numbers, they are divisible by 10. So divide throughout by 10 so that it will be simplified. Otherwise the numbers will become very big. You multiply 10 into 600, then a big number, then factorize that big number. So we got 60. Okay. Now we have to factorize this 60 in such a way that after subtracting, okay, now I have to find the factors of 60 in such a way that after subtracting, see the last term sign is minus. After subtracting, I should get 4. Now 10 6 are 60 and 10 minus 6 gives me 4. Okay, middle term sign is positive. That has to be given to the greater number, and this is negative. So I should be getting, I will split this middle term 4x as x square plus 10x minus 6x minus 60 is equal to 0. Split the middle term now. We have learnt already in the earlier practice sets how to factorize. Okay, so this is how we split the middle term. Now group them, x square plus 10x, group them together, and minus 6x minus 60, group them together and take common. Now from here we will take x common. What remains inside is x plus 10. And from here we will take 6x common, group these two, group these two. From here we take x common, and from here we will take minus 6 common, minus 6. So when minus goes outside, inside the bracket you will get plus, x plus 10. Okay, so here we take x common and here we take minus 6 common. Now this x plus 10 bracket is common, take it out. So we get our factors x plus 10, x minus 6 is equal to 0. Now equate each bracket to 0. X plus 10 is equal to 0 or x minus 6 is equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to minus 10 or x is equal to 6. Now we got a value, one value in the negatives. Now number of pots cannot be negative. It is a number, no? How can it be negative? So we don't take this value, we take x is equal to 6. But the number of earthen pots cannot be negative. Therefore x cannot be equals to minus 10. Therefore it is equals to 6. And the cost of each earthen pot then is going to be 10x plus 40, which is 10 into 6 plus 40, which is 100. So here we got, he makes 6 pots. He makes 6 pots and cost of each pot is 100. So 6 into 100 is 600. So the production cost given in the question is 600. Okay, so that is justified. So here itself we came to know that our answer is correct. 6 into 100 is 600. So he makes 6 earthen pots per day and the cost of each earthen pot is rupees 100. It is important to write final answer whenever we are solving the word problems. Okay, this is again an interesting sum. Let us read the sum carefully. Pratik travels by boat 36 km downstream and back in 8 hours. If the speed of the boat in still water is 12 km per hour, find the speed of the water current. Okay, so this is how Pratik is traveling, and this water is a flowing water. They have given downstream and upstream. So imagine a river, no? It is flowing in one direction. So you go with the direction of the flow, it is called as downstream. And you go opposite to the direction of the flow, it is called as upstream. Now this is a simple logic, no? To understand. Now see, if the boat was to be in a still water, like let's say in a lake or something, where the water is not moving, the water is not flowing, the water is still. Let's say in a lake where water is not moving at all, the water is still. If ship is there, it will remain there, it will not move. If you want to take ship somewhere, you will need to have a motor in it. and then start the motor and then it will go. So in the still water, okay, where there is no flow, the speed of the boat, find the speed of the water current is what we have to find, speed of the water current. Now what have they given in the question? Speed of the boat in still water is 12 kilometers per hour. 12 kilometers per hour in a still water where the water is not flowing. Okay, now little bit of science also we have to know in this. Okay, see what all is given, slowly step by step we will go. Okay, he is going, he starts from here, he goes downstream and then he comes back upstream. All this journey he completes in 8 hours. All this journey he completes in 8 hours. This is what is given. See, Pratik travels by boat 36 km downstream and back in 8 hours. Now you have to understand one thing. We assume, now see, find the speed of the water current. Speed of the water current we don't know, so we assume it to be x. Okay, let the speed of the water current, because now in this case the water is not still. Where Pratik is going, the water is not still. Okay, it is a flowing water because he is going downstream and upstream, it is given. And that's why they have asked us to find out what was the speed of the water current is asked to find. Okay, the water is not still in this case, the water is flowing. So now you must have played with making small boats, no, in rainy days. So that boat is made up of paper. So when you put it in the water is flowing, and that paper boat also flows with the water, right? That does not have any motor, but still it flows. It flows with the current. So similarly, when he is flowing with the current, that time the speed of the boat, so whenever he is going downstream, whenever he is going downstream, you have to understand one thing, that the speed of the boat is going to increase, of course, right? The speed of the boat, speed of boat downstream is going to increase. Speed of the boat downstream is going to increase, right? So its speed of the boat downstream will become, in the still water the speed is 12, plus it got additional push by water current. And how much is the speed of water current? We have assumed x. So this is 12 is the speed of the boat, okay, plus it got additional x speed of the water current. So total speed of the boat downstream became 12 plus x. And speed of the boat upstream, I'm just making an arrow like this, upstream. Now see, upstream what will happen? It will have a resistance. The boat will see, boat is going up now. The boat will have the resistance of the flow of the water current. So its speed will decrease. Okay, now this 12 has to be more than x, otherwise boat cannot go forward only. Okay, if the speed of water current is more than this 12, then boat will be pushed back, right, by the water current. Boat will not move forward at all, right? So this 12 has to be always greater than x, otherwise boat will not move only forward, it will not be able to go upstream if the speed of the boat is less than the speed of the water current, right? Water will just take it along with it, right? So this is the speed of the boat upstream. Speed will decrease upstream, right, because it is going against the flow. Now we need to know another another formula which we've already learned in 1.5 also, that is a speed formula. Speed is equal to distance upon time, right? Therefore time is equal to distance upon speed. Do you remember this? We have learned this in 1.5. Okay, now we will take time taken for him to travel downstream. Of course it is going to be less because the speed was more that time. Okay, so time taken downstream would be, now what is the distance? Distance is same, 36. downstream and upstream. And the speed downstream is 12 plus x. Okay. And time taken to go upstream would be 36 upon 12 minus x. Okay. Now we will get the condition. Total time is 8 hours. So this will be our condition. 36 upon 12 plus x plus 36 upon 12 minus x is equal to 8. So let's just go over it and try to understand once again what is given in the question. The speed of boat in still water is 12 kilometers per hour. This is what is given. Let the speed of water current be x kilometers per hour. Now see, this x has to be less than 12. Okay, the speed of water current has to be less than the speed of the boat. Otherwise the boat will not be able to go upstream if the motor is not that powerful, right? It has to have speed greater than 12. Then the speed of x has to be less than 12. Then the speed of the boat downstream we found 12 plus x, and speed of the boat upstream we found 12 minus x. Now time is distance upon speed, therefore time to cover 36 kilometers downstream is 36 upon 12 plus x hours, and upstream is so much. This we found just now, right? So from the given condition, time taken to go downstream and come back upstream, total time he is taken is 8. Then what do? This 36 is taken common, and what remains inside is 1 upon 12 plus x plus 1 upon 12 minus x. Okay, so just take that 36 common. Now cross multiply here, cross multiply. So that will become 12 minus x plus 12 plus x upon multiply these two. Okay, now this minus x plus x gets cut. 12 plus 12 is 24. Okay, so that's 36 into 12 plus 12 is 24, and I have taken this part here with 8. Okay, now this is a plus b, a minus b, so we can directly use a square minus b square formula over there, and this 8 is brought down, so that is 12 square minus x square. Okay, so 144 minus x square. Now here 8 ones are 8, 8 3s are 24, and then 36 into 3, bring that x square here, and 108 that side, so we get x is equal to 6 or minus 6. Okay, but speed cannot be negative, speed has to be something. Okay, so therefore x is equal to 6, and therefore the speed of water current is 6 kilometers per hour. Let's move on to the next sum. Pintu and Nishu. Pintu takes 6 days more to complete a certain work than Nishu. Now there is Nishu and there is Pintu. Now Nishu is faster or Pintu is faster? Who's faster? Who does the work faster? Pintu or Nishu? Pintu takes 6 days more to complete the same work, certain work, same work it is there, but if both of them do it separately, let's say Nishu does in x days, then Pintu will take x plus 6 days to complete that particular work. Okay, and together they finish the work in 4 days. How many days would each take to complete that work if they work alone? So we assume if they work alone. Okay, if they work alone, Nishu completes the work in x days and Pintu completes the work in x plus 6 days. Now see, suppose a particular work is there and somebody finishes it in 4 days. Okay, means in one day that person will finish 1/4 part of it. We assume that every day same amount of work is done, equally it is done every day. In 4 days it is finished, no? So in the first day he will finish 1/4 part, then next day 1/4, then again 1/4, then again 1/4 part he will finish. So like that in 4 days, see that work gets divided. So in one day he finishes 1/4 part. Now if you add them, that is going to become 4 upon 4, and 4 upon 4 is equals to 1. That means one work is completed. So what I am trying to show you here is, when somebody works for 4 days, in one day he finishes 1/4 part of that work. If somebody works for 6 days, in one day he finishes 1/6 part of that work. Okay, I hope you understand this logic. So this person will work for 6 days. So 1 upon 6, 1 upon 6, 1 upon 6, you add for 6 times, then that one work will be over. It will become 6 upon 6, and that one work will be finished. It's like that. Okay. Now whenever these two work separately, Nishu takes x days and Pintu takes x plus 6 days. So in one day, Nishu will finish 1 upon x part of the work, and Pintu will finish 1 upon x plus 6 part of the work. Okay. Now in one day she will finish so much work. So in 4 days, how much work she'll finish? 4 days. In 4 days she will finish 4 into 1 upon x, that is 4 upon x, and this one will finish 4 into that, so that is 4 upon x plus 6. Okay, so in 4 days Nishu finishes so much and Pintu finishes so much. But what else is given? See, together they finish the work in 4 days. So if this is the work they do in 4 days, and if they work together for 4 days, they are going to finish that one work. Do you understand this logic? This is how we get the condition now. Okay, now in 4 days they will finish so much work, 4 upon x and 4 plus x plus. But then if they work together for 4 days, they are going to finish that one work. This is our condition, and we are going to solve this, and we are going to get the value of x. Hope you have understood. Let Nishu take x days to complete the work, then Pintu takes x plus 6 days to complete the same work. Now Nishu's work in one day is going to be 1 upon x. Nishu's work in 4 days will be then 4 upon x. Multiply that 4 times, right? Pintu's work in one day and Pintu's work in 4 days. By given condition, Nishu's 4 days work plus Pintu's 4 days work is equal to that one work. One work would be completed. See, together they finish the work in 4 days. So if they work together for 4 days, they will finish that work. So we add them, take that 4 out as a common. Now cross multiply. Okay, this will become x plus 6 plus x upon x into x plus 6. This is how we cross multiply, right? X plus x is going to be 2x plus 6. And this goes that side, x into x is x square plus 6x. Now multiply this 4 inside the bracket. 4 2s are 8x plus 4 6 are 24. Okay, now rearrange the terms. We will get x square minus 2x. 6x minus 8x is 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. Now factorize 24 and find those factors of 24 which after subtracting will give me 2. Okay, now such factors are 6 4s are 24 and 6 minus 4 is 2. Now group them together. and take the common factor. Okay, so x minus 6, x plus 4 are my factors. Equate both the factors to 0 and we will get x is equal to 6 or x is equal to minus 4. But negative value we don't take. Okay, but the number of days cannot be negative. So we take x is equal to 6 and therefore x plus 6 is 12. Okay, so Nishu takes 6 days and Pintu takes 12 days to complete the work individually. Let's move to the next sum. Read what is given. If 460 is divided by a natural number, so this dividend is given 460 to us, and this is divided. This is divided by some natural number. So assume this natural number to be x. Now this is also called as divisor. The number that we write here, the number that divides, is called as divisor. So this divisor be x. This divisor be x. 460 is divided by a natural number. That time the quotient is 6 more than 5 times the divisor. 5 times the divisor means 5x and 6 more means plus 6. Okay. So when 460 is divided by a divisor, that time the quotient we get is 5x plus 6 and the remainder we get is 1. Then find the quotient and the remainder. So basically we will get a equation first, quadratic equation, find x and then find 5x plus 6, because this is the divisor x and 5x plus 6 is the quotient. So for this we are going to take help of one formula that we have learned. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. If you remember, since 7th standard you are learning this. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. So we will write 460 is equal to dividend into quotient, that divisor into quotient, that. Okay, we will use the formula and we will, this is a quite simple, this is not a difficult sum. Just the formula and substitute in the formula. That's it. So let the divisor be x, then the quotient is 5x plus 6 according to the condition given in the question. Then this formula we have to learn. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Just put it there. Dividend is 460. Divisor we have assumed x. Quotient is 5x plus 6 and plus 1. Now multiply this x inside the bracket. 5x square plus 6x. Okay, now bring all the terms on one side. Now this is going to become 1 minus 460. So that is 459. Okay, now we cannot divide throughout by 5. Otherwise we would have, but they are not divisible. So now what we have to do? The coefficient of the first term and the last term we have to multiply. That is 5 into 459 we have to multiply. And then whatever the number comes, don't sit to multiply. Just like this only, if you can factorize this 459 and get the factors, just see. We have to find the factors in such a way that, see, last term sign is negative. Last term sign is negative. So we have to find the factors in such a way which after subtracting should give me 6. Which after subtracting should give me 6. So we try to factorize and we factorize this 459 as 9 into 51. You have to try all the possible combinations and see what will give you. Okay, so this 9 5s are 45 I get. So that's 45 into 51. Now if you multiply and see, 45 into 51 will give you this, and 51 minus 45 gives you 6. 51 minus 45 gives you 6. Middle term sign is positive, that way will give to the greater number and this will be negative. Okay, so we will split this middle term 6x as 51x minus 45x. 51x minus 45x. So let's just do that. So now we group them together, these two and these two. So from the first two, we have taken 5x common. What remains inside is x minus 9. And then from the next two, we have taken 51 common. What remains is x minus 9 again. Now x minus 9 and 5x plus 51 is 0. Okay. And then this is how we solve it further. X is equal to 9 or 5x is equal to minus 51. X is equal to 9 or x is equal to minus 51 upon 5. Okay. But this minus 51 upon 5 is not a natural number. So we cannot choose that value. Right. Therefore, it cannot be taken because it is a natural value. Right. Natural number. It is given in the question. Therefore, x is equal to 9 and 5x plus 6 is equal to 51. So we get quotient is 51 and the divisor is 9. Let's move ahead to the last sum. It is given little bit in the activity form. In the given trapezium ABCD, AB is parallel to CD. Its area is 33 centimeters square. Find the length of its four sides. Length of its four sides. So x, we have to find x, AB, we have to find BC, we have to find DC, and we have to find AD. Okay, we have to find the length of its four sides from the given information and fill in the boxes to get the solution. So it is given in the activity form actually. ABCD is a trapezium. So AB is parallel to CD. Okay, one side of a trapezium is parallel. And the formula we know, this formula is already given in the question also. Area of quadrilateral ABCD is half into AB plus DC into height. Now here height is AM. Okay, the formula is actually is half into sum of the parallel sides. Sum of the parallel sides. Now the parallel sides are AB and DC. That's why we have written AB plus DC. But this was already given in the question also. Into height H. Now height is what? AM. Okay, so we can write AM here. Okay, now just substitute. Area is given 33. Its area is 33 centimeters square, 33. Half into AB is given x, DC is given 2x plus 1 into AM. AM is given x minus 4. So we just substitute there x minus 4. Substituting the given values. Okay. Then we try to solve it further. Bring this to this side. So that becomes 33 into 2. 33 multiplied by 2. 66. And here 2x plus x. 2x plus x becomes 3x. This is multiplication sign. Don't get confused. This sign is multiplication sign. This half has gone that side and got multiplied with 33. That became 66. Now x plus 2x is 3x plus 1. This is again a multiplication sign into x minus 4. Okay. So now multiply these two. 3x plus 1 into x minus 4. Multiply these two brackets. So when we multiply these two brackets, what do we get? See, I have done this at the side. This is actually 66 is equal to 3x plus 1 and in the other bracket x minus 4. So what we can do is we can open one bracket. So 3x into x minus 4 and plus 1 into x minus 4. Okay, so that becomes 3x square minus 4 3s are 12x plus x minus 4. Okay, therefore 66 is equal to 3x square minus 12x plus x minus 11. Different signs, subtract. Give the sign of the greater number to the answer. Minus 4. Okay, now bring this 66 this side. Okay, that will become, and put a 0 here. So that will become 3x square minus 11x minus 4 minus 66. 66 comes this side, it will become minus. So that's equals to, therefore we will get the equation like this, quadratic equation, 3x square minus 11x minus 70 is equal to 0. Okay, this is how we will get the quadratic equation. And then this quadratic equation we have to solve. Okay. So if we just see further, we get 3x square plus, that's minus 11x, 3x square plus minus, like these brackets are shown. Okay, so 3x square minus this 11x you will get, and minus is already outside the sign bracket, so you will just write this 70 there. Okay, 3x square plus minus 11x minus 70 is equal to 0. So let me just erase this thing off, and then we will add the numbers in the boxes. I've solved this side also and shown how that came. 3x square minus 11x minus 70 is equal to 0. So here we are going to write minus 11x and 70 in the box is equal to 0. Now 73s are, we have to factorize that way now. 70 multiplied by 3, 210, right? 70 multiplied by 3 is 210. Now we have to factorize 210 in such a way that after subtracting, this sign is minus, right? This sign is minus. After subtracting, I should be getting 11. So 21 tens are 210, and 21 minus 10 will give me 11, right? And middle term sign is minus, so that has to be given to the greater factor. Middle term sign is minus plus. Okay, so we will get the factors further. For that also they have put the boxes, so we have to find those. Okay, now this is the quadratic equation. We group these two and we group these two. From the first two we take 3x common, so what remains inside is x minus 7. 3 7s are 21. And from the next two bracket we take 10 common, so what remains is x minus 7. So x minus 7 bracket is common. So x minus 7, 3x plus 10. Okay, these are the factors. Now we equate each factor to 0, and then we get x is equal to 7 in this case. And in this case, when we solve, we get 3x is equal to minus 10. 10 will go that side, will become minus 10. And therefore, x is equal to minus 10 upon 3. But the side's length cannot be negative, right? Length of the side cannot be negative. So this minus value we don't consider. We only consider the positive value, that is x is equal to 7. Okay, so let us proceed. So therefore x is equal to 7 and x is equal to minus 10 upon 3. But that negative value we will not consider. Therefore x is equal to 7. Okay, so now we have put the value of x there. Therefore, we get AB is equal to 7. CD was 2x plus 1. Therefore, we have put the value there for CD. And we get CD is 15. Then BC is equal to x minus 2. BC is equal to 7 minus 2, which is equals to 5. And in the question itself, they have shown with the similar markings. Similar markings, they have shown that AD is equal to BC. So therefore, AD also will be equals to 5. AD is equal to BC is 5. So hence we get the final, all the lengths of all the sides we get. AB is 7 centimeter, CD is 15 centimeter, BC is 5 centimeter, and AD is 5 centimeter. And with this we finished with 2.6. Thank you so much.